live stream. And happy let me turn this up. Happy 420, everybody. And it was nice to have Orlando, my new kitty, who showed up there he is, who showed up at my window just right after I say, I'm not the cat lady. I don't have any cats. Orlando showed up in the window, and we kind of need, I kind of feel like we needed each other. Like, it's kind of, anyway, that was Orlando. And I guess he likes the hat. This is one of my school hats. Like, it's like one of the team school hats. I'm back in college. Spring break is over. Wow. A day of major studying yesterday, and I wasn't able to live stream. Usually I like to live stream on Wednesdays. Wednesday's a good day for me because I got things that I have to get done on Tuesdays, oftentimes very intense. And then Wednesday is like, all right. And then I got Friday that I have deadlines. And so kind of works out that way. The music reminds me of being a teen, sneaking out on the beach at night with a keg and diving behind dunes when the cops patrol like past. Oh, wow. That's very cool. Yes, Thermal Mermaid. It does. That's groovy. I mean, like I said, the word groovy. Yeah, it's good music. It's good music. Good 90s music. Good evening. Hi, Jay Cool. And then we have the Bug Bouncer, Lucart Scarta, and Thermal Mermaid is here. So welcome, you guys. All right, so want to go into a few things tonight. And I want to have some fun too, really, because I'm just kind of in a fun mood. I mean, like what I'm talking about, what I'm going to go into is like kind of annoying at first. I mean, it kind of, here's the deal. I think that there are more people that are interested in bringing out drama, right? I mean, drama sells. Let's just put it out there like that. For example, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is just filled with drama. I mean, who doesn't love to watch it? I'm sorry to play the devil's advocate like this, but it's kind of true, right? I mean, there's things to learn about it because, as far as she's concerned, and this kind of like, I want to draw an analogy to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I'm going to try. I'll try to talk as slow as Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm not Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Doesn't he like? I know a Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp talk real slow. It's like, come on, dude. And they asked him a question, and Amber came into the room and put a cigarette out on my cheek. I can't do it right. I can't do it justice, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, the trial's so long because I think part of the reason is that Johnny Depp is taking so long to talk. Okay. Drama and gossip. Yes, that is exactly what it is. And what I'm seeing on the internet, but like after a while, after you've been online for a while and you've been on YouTube media, you've been on the conspiracy, UFOlogy, truth media group, like I was like I've been, I mean, that's been part of my experience. I kind of took a little detour on some of the platforms here, Revolution Radio, American Freedom Radio. And in my time that I have participated and touched upon on some of the topics and got involved with in a way that I wish I hadn't gotten involved with. For example, the title of this video is, has anybody ever opened a can of worms? And I titled the show this because I thought of that last night. I even like post that the thumbnail is my Facebook post. That's my Facebook avatar. Not too bad, huh? I have the little. I didn't wear the black beret today, but I found an avatar where I could put a black beret on it, and some people responded, of course, like you have to open a can of worms to go fishing, but unless you really go fishing, what is the need to open the can of worms? And then just the visual of just worms, creeping out, and how we say it. The reason why it came to mind is because Deborah Heap Kale, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's involved in this media. She watches it a lot, and I made a post. I didn't know that the actor Gabriel Burns, the Irish actor, actually was molested in the Catholic Church, like from a priest. And there's an article online about it, and I had shared it on my Facebook page. Sometimes when I do those kind of posts, a lot of people don't respond to them. It just seems like it just gets glossed over. Like, oh, we don't want to look at that. We don't want to look at it. And Deborah made a comment and said, "Well, that's opening a whole can of worms." And I just thought about just what that's like how we say it, like it's part of our vernacular, like opening up a can of worms that you can't close up, and they just keep, the worms are all coming out, and it's just, it just like you think of icky, right? I mean, unless you're fishing, and then think about I just thought about how worms are waiting in the can. Like, what's it like to be the worm in the can that's in there going, God, I can't wait for somebody to open it up so I can crawl out of here and then be put on a fish hook and, be eaten by a fish. Either way, I'm fucked, right? I mean, the ultimate person and the ultimate entity in that, it's not, I guess worms aren't people, but, form of life that's really screwed is the worm, and the worm's just waiting, to get out of the can. Probably if he knew, if the worm knew that once it got out, it was going to just be used for bait, it probably would have just went ahead and killed himself. I'm just thinking out loud. I'd be like, oh, fuck this. I'm out of here. I'm checking out of the can of worms. But just think what it means when we say it. Like, that is just the filth or the deceit, or the minute you look into it, it's never ending. It won't go away, and I guess that's what it pretty much signifies. But in terms of let's say maybe even the situation I'm going to talk about tonight, because one of the things I wanted to just kind of touch, I just wanted to do a live stream, but also there is something that I want to talk about. And it's in a response to something that did happen right when I started to go back to college that has to do with people and players in this media that I've been talking about. And the reason why I bring it up at all, I could just say, look, I don't want to get into the drama because everything's about drama, right? I mean, there's drama within our world, and don't you kind of I notice that I'm even gravitated toward it. Like, I go, who said what? What happened? So-and-so walked out of the room and was pissed off, why do we see movies? We don't see movies to see people get along. Usually there's some sort of conflict that happens. But sometimes I think drama is created to be a distraction to the real truth of what the information is. And that's really, what my point is, or what I'm trying to get across to you. And I think that that's being done on true crime podcasts or true crime types of YouTube channels. Now, granted, because of the nature of some of the things that are discussed on these type of channels, which will involve trafficking that happens with children, right? That a lot of wackiness kind of seems to center around it. And sometimes I look at some of these channels and I'm trying to figure out what is the channel really doing? Are they really doing something about this? Or are they just getting donations and making money? And that's happening too. Are they just making a distraction and a joke about it? Like, there are certain cases out there right now. And I'm going to be specific about the channels that are doing this. It's probably not channels that guys don't even know about yet. Matter of fact, one of them, this is how it started, was a channel that I didn't even know about until a person made a comment on one of my other videos that I did about Team Rose, or a woman named Rose. She's had different names, but she normally goes by Rose. And if you remember, I don't know if you guys are new here, my channel, so I'm gonna kind of go back to it in a nutshell here. But there's a woman named that went by the name Rose, and she has various channels. One of them is Rose Blueprint 4848. And I became aware of her when she did a video about Max Spears shortly after he had passed away. And it was a video that I believe might have been uploaded on Nate Gray's Super Soldier Forum website. She said that she found this information, but she read this whole thing about Max Spears' relationship to Orlando Bloom, the actor. And some information that she found that was scrubbed from the Super Soldier Forum website, but she found it. She still had a copy of it, and she was reading it in a video, and I found it really interesting. And then come to find out, Max did have a relationship, or was a childhood friend to Orlando Bloom. So this is the first time I ever saw Rose. I just want to give that background, but her name really isn't Rose. That's not her real name. And you know what? We can call ourselves anything we want on YouTube. I mean, and Facebook, it's a little fussier, right? Because they want you to be able to confirm your identity, but people get away with not using real names. Or I've seen my friends change their names on their profiles or whatever. My name, Tere Joyce, is not my birth last name. Joyce is a last name that I decided when I was about 21 years old to use. It's my mother's first name, and I turned around and made it my last name for acting. This is before I even went into stand-up comedy. I go, you know what? I'm going to go by Tere Joyce because it's easy to pronounce. It's easy to say. My real birth last name it's pronounced like it does. It doesn't look the way you say it. And it just didn't have the right ring to it. Like names have a, you want something that has like a snap or something. And I like the fact that it was two first names. And I liked the James Joyce link, like it could be like, oh yeah, maybe that's like James Joyce or whatever. But that name now is registered with the Screen Actors Guild. And I'm using me as an example because I'm going to go to Rose here in a second on that. I'm not just trying to toot my own horn, but I'm going to make a point to this. So I'm on IMDb as Tere Joyce. I'm on other types of, that's how I'm known. Like, people know me online, on Facebook, professionally in the entertainment business, like whatever. Publicly, I'm known as Tere Joyce. Now, even though that is not my real name, that's on my driver's license. I mean, it's close, but it's not, I've got, it's different than that. Now, some people, when they, register with the Screen Actors Guild, their name is their real name. There's no separation between the two. All right. And that's the case, that this is the case with Rose. I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that her real name is the name that she used when she played a part in the movie In the Bedroom. And her name is Deborah Director. All right. And that information is on IMDb. Now, the reason why I bring that up is, and let me go into the background a little bit with Rose still. I was looking at like what Thermal Mermaid said. Yes, he was astral promoting visiting her. Ugh. Okay, I don't know exactly. I guess we're people, Terry. Gabriel Bryan, first season of Vikings. Yes, and he's been an actor for a long time. I've actually liked him. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. He was on the first season of Vikings. So when you where am I in this conversation? Because I got distracted there for a second. So I've known Rose, and it was through Max, and I had a falling out with her at one point over cannabis. Ironically, this is 420, and because she was sharing things on Facebook that cannabis could actually cure or be helpful with COVID. And I want to be careful, like, because I don't want to trigger the AI and get in trouble. And I had an issue with that. I said, you know what? That's misinformation. There's no proof that the cannabis plant does anything for the virus. And yes, it is. When you post, first of all, IMDb, like, I don't even post on IMDb. I don't really officially have an account. Because of the fact that I've done movies, and I was on Last Comic Standing, which was the NBC show, my credits are automatically added when the company adds me as a cast member to anything. And then, if you were to look at that show, you would see me, and then you would see a link to my profile, which actually is just there. And I think that's the same situation with Rose or Deborah, is that, she was in the movie In the Bedroom, which had Tom Wilkinson in it, and as well as Sissy Spacek and Marissa Tomei. I mean, it's got a really big cast, and it was noticed, like it got certain from some film critic, blah, 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 film festival, this and blank, blank, blank. Like, it was kind of this successful, somewhat indie film, like almost like a Sundance type of movie, but then it got released on like HBO and Showtime, and it, you can rent it on YouTube. So I'm kind of like losing people here. I can see like I'm at like 3 people are watching. Okay, but thank you for being here for the 3 people that are here. Okay, so I guess like I'm rambling. I should just get to the point about this in terms of her. Like why should we care about this conversation, right? Like, why should I care about, this woman, or, that she has an acting name, or what your name matters, or whatever? Well, okay, the reason why I care about it is because I feel that she's deceptive in a media that we claim to be the truth media. And I consider, like, I can show you footage right now. Like, I've got it saved from her channel talking about me. And, she said something like, Tere used to be a fan of mine. And I was like, no, I was never a fan. Like, I never thought of myself as like, I'm a fan of hers, and that's why I'm watching her channel. Like, sometimes I'll watch, I watch Truth Seekers, and I said when I was as a guest on Truth Seekers, I've gone, yeah, I'm a fan of your Stevens. And even Stevens said, no, Tere, you're not my fan, you're my friend. And that's right. You know what I mean? Like there's a mutual sort of like respect in a way, you know, like being friends, or like I've got my channel, even though my channel is smaller than his right now, or it doesn't really matter how big your channel is or how many people are, you know, watching in the moment. What matters is that, you know, if you have a channel, it's nice to like have a somewhat of a mutual acknowledgement or respect. And that's the way I thought of Rose. Like you know, she'd done stuff. She was in this media. She was talking about super soldier stuff. She was talking about UFO stuff. I didn't know her really well, but I saw her as like a colleague, not like somebody who was, hi, Big 21, welcome. I saw her as a colleague, not like somebody who, that I'm a fan. To me, I'm a fan of Johnny Depp, all right? I like Johnny Depp's films. I'm a fan of his work. But if I knew Johnny Depp and I worked with Johnny Depp, then I wouldn't be on fan status anymore. He would have been somebody that I worked with, or it would be like, I know Johnny damn now, and so on, right? I mean, that's how I look at it. When you're a fan, you're like, to me, fan is like, oh, I'm looking at Tiger Beat or something. They're an idol. You're above me. I'm not even sure that I even like the word fan. I'm a fan. I'm your biggest fan. Because it puts somebody else, on a pedestal in a way. Okay. And I don't normally, I try not to go around, oh yeah, those are my fans. Cause I just sort of feel like, oh, thank you. I don't even tell people thank you for being a fan of mine. I just don't like that. Even though I'm an entertainer, I will say, yeah, I got so many subscribers, people tuning in or whatever, but in a way, even when you're here, I see you in the chat, I feel like even though I don't see your faces, I see your profiles. And it's like, oh, it's Thermal Mermaid, right? I don't look at Thermal Mermaid and go, oh, she's a fan of mine. I could say, Thermal Mermaid is regular in my chat. I think she might be a subscriber, because doing this is not the same is when you're here. It's when you're here, there's interplay, and that is what makes this media enjoyable for me. And I think for other people, when I'm in other people's chat room, you feel like even though you're online, you're still relating to people. And sometimes those relations, especially in chat rooms and stuff like that, can be heated. And really, I kind of feel like I've spent the first part of this year on my own channel talking about things that happen in chat rooms, either people having sock puppet accounts in chat rooms, or people getting kicked out of chat rooms, or people causing issues in chat rooms, right? Or people saying negative things about you that you hear about in other people's chat rooms, and then that information gets to you. So there's a lot of power in chat rooms, and the fact that this media is so immediately interactive, and it's that way on all bunch of platforms. This is not just YouTube, right? And even the mainstream papers and the mainstream publications and celebrities gotta interact now. It's different now. It's almost because of the internet, we have even a more even power in a way. You can just be you, who knows who you are, but you can tweet something that just is so on the mark that it could just go viral. Just you, Joe Blow. You don't need to go to an agent and go, yeah, I'd really like to get my my writing out there. You can just use Twitter for that in many ways if you want to. So it's different now, and I like it. but it's kind of like the Wild West. And when I was starting earlier, happy 420, by the way, I just want to keep saying that, although I'm not going to be smoking in front of the camera or anything like that, because, you know, unfortunately, I just feel, and it's just going to be shocking to say on 420, I just think it kind of like takes away from maybe information that you might be speaking. Because what if I said something that really hit the nail on the head tonight, and then because I'm smoking a joint while I'm doing it, it will turn off still a large portion of people. They go, oh, that's just a stoner saying that. Oh yeah, she's just an addict or whatever, you know. Even though it is 420, and if you want to light up, please do. Right? Okay, so this woman, the reason why I bring her up and the reason why I want to discuss it, because I just observing what happens on YouTube right now in terms of true crime podcasts and players that, you know, if it happened in the past, it is happening now again. Like I'm seeing repeat type of characters coming in, and I don't know why that's going off. Hold on. Oh yeah, that was I had a friend calling right now. Okay. So we see like repeat players. Like for example, let's go back to like 2016, 2017. Who was out there in Arizona doing things for kids and getting people to donate to them and blah, 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 blah. There's this one guy, I can't remember his name exactly, but I remember a Craig Sawyer, right? Craig Sawyer, right? He and the rape tree. You guys remember that? I mean, you know, I know some of you that might be listening to this. When you get into the booing stuff, and you get into the players of people that came out, they've come and gone, kind of. Like, do we listen? Where did he go? Where did Craig Sawyer go? Right now, Craig Sawyer had some mainstream media connections. Like I think, what was he, like a Navy SEAL, or he was something like military. He was a big deal working with the Clintons before in Hollywood, and you know helped with movies and this and that. Yeah, right. Okay. See, and I also remember a guy. Now maybe he wasn't quite as popular on YouTube, but he has been somewhat popular. Was a guy named Kai Irvin with Kai Conspiracy or Kai's Conspiracy or whatever. He was like big booing person, needed to be numero uno, booing person. And I met him because I was live streaming a protest on Hollywood Boulevard to stop in Hollywood, right? So I went and I live streamed it on YouTube. And I didn't know when I showed up that day that that's what I would be live streaming. So he came in, and he also previously before that had something called Operation Mayflower, which caused like hundreds of Twitter accounts, to conservative Twitter people, to go down because of they were constantly CCing everybody. They even like did something to James Woods got nicked because of them, because he shared one of their content, and they had a panic. He was like, so he came into the picture. Now he's gone, right? But now we have people like, we have an Ernie Shell. And I don't know if you've heard that name yet. I mean, because I didn't even know who he was until last Monday, when I had somebody make a comment on one of the videos that I did about Deborah Director, the actress. That tweet that I show at the beginning of this video, and if you guys want to, if you're here now, maybe you want to. I opened well, I think, right? Playing Rage Against the Machine and showing my tweet. I said, FYI at Team Rose, Deborah Director, saying your name that you have registered with the Screen Actors Guild and is listed, on IMDb because, you were in a movie called In the Bedroom, is not doxing. Now, the reason why I said that was because I was in a chat room. And by the way, I was in Ernie Shell's chat room. Because when I got this message on my video about Deborah Director, I went, who's Ernie Shell? So I went on, I Googled it. I looked into him. I found out, I glazed over things. I'm not expert on the guy yet. All right. But we're going to go into it a little bit because I do have a video to show you, or I could show you some things that we need to look at even right now, I think. And so I went in and he was streaming live, just like I might be right now. Just if somebody went, who the hell's Tere Joyce? And then they would see me here with my hat on and they go, oh, let me listen to see what's going on. And maybe they pop in for a second. Same thing for me. So I pop in and, you know, the main focus in some of these groups of people is a little girl named Summer Wells who is missing. She's 6 years old and she's missing. And these channels like Jimmy Jams TV, who kind of reminds me of like Unirock. Let's go back to Unirock for a moment. These guys are a certain type. It's like I go, oh, it's you here again. They pretty much sit around and they smoke on something and they're busy and they're giving away t-shirts and talking to people and pretty much having maybe callers call in who have suggestions about these missing little girls. And then the callers get made fun of. Then the people in the chat argue with each other and kick each other out and have all this drama going on. Hi, Mark McFarland. Long time no see. Nice to see you here. Yeah, I'm doing like a later broadcast tonight, so it's been a while since I think sometimes like some of the people that I used to see at nighttime, on live streams, I'm seeing here. But it's good to see you, Mark. So that's what's going on. That's what I've observed in these types of chat rooms. And I think, well, why is that happening? Like, where do these hosts come from? Like where the hosts, like people call in and then they have these wacky callers, which might be fake or not real. It's like a carnival show. It's a carnival show based on missing children is what it looks like to me. And there's people profiting off of it. And then there's this guy, this Ernie Shell guy, from what I can see, he says, well, we don't have our nonprofit status yet, but here's our Save the Children website. So he's taking donations without really being a nonprofit, which does that, like if you wanted, like, think about it. What does that mean? We don't have our status yet. We don't, but here's our thing and here's our website and here's where you can give us money. And this guy is from the South, which, I don't mean that in a judgmental way because I feel like people are going to get sensitive, right? But I think that he might be playing the part of a stereotype. Like he's the stereotype in his images. Like, for example, Rose on her channel is now like, it's like she was all into Jimmy Jams, but now she's into this Ernie Shell person. Like he's the new guy in the block, but he's not really remember David Seaman? Like, we've already been here already, is how I feel. I don't know if you guys, see it that way. Like you're not seeing like repeated types of people crop up and they're associated with the same topic. And they're back again, only it's different. And what I find interesting is this woman, Rose, at Team Rose, who, was associated to Max Spears, right, by talking about him, doing videos about his relationship with Orlando Bloom, reading material about that. She also does or did videos of consulting with channelers who claimed that Max was channeling through them, and she would do videos about that as well. Has several videos about Palladians, talks about Simon Parks a lot. She's got like different channels. Now that's fine, right? I mean, there's nothing really unusual. I'm just saying these things at the back of profiling about like what might be happening. Then I see her on, like we're Facebook friends. I've talked to her about things. I've talked to her about people that are associated in this community, like, Sarah, or, she claimed that certain things about certain people from that group that she had problems with and this and that. And over the years, you have to realize this is over time. The one time that I got into a tiff with her on Facebook over cannabis and the fact that she was sharing material that was claiming that cannabis was a cure for for what's, I don't want to say the name, right? Cure for that, which is like gross medical information. If you can't even say, speak, you can't even say any of the things that have been claimed by other people that are pharmaceuticals that might be treatable for this, right? It's so taboo. And, and the fact that it is 420, I want to say, when you mix, lies with real information, people don't, I'm all happy about legalization. Like we're all celebrating 420. Like nobody takes marijuana seriously anymore. Prohibition is moving on and blah, 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 blah. But within all that, we realize we lose the healing aspect of the plant or the industrial aspect of the plant. Like if we really wanted to help our economy, then why don't we just like legalize industrial hemp? Like, why don't we just make paper fiber fuel? We can like screw the gas. We can run our cars on hemp. And, we have all this talk about this and blah, 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 and global warming and and your carbon footprint, when this whole time we could be utilizing this wonderful plant. Meanwhile, everybody just sits back and like focuses on the stoner aspect of everything. And they miss out on the whole picture. So that's what I'm going to take advantage of and talk about today in 420. I don't need, it's not about how many like joints I can like inhale and smoke today. It's about like, well, where do we go farther on this? And when there's a possibility that the decarboxylated form of it can actually maybe kill cancer cells. Like some people have claimed. If you want to watch something that's really interesting, look up Rick Simpson oil, Run from the Cure here on YouTube. When you want to get people to take that seriously against big pharma, that people make a bunch of money off of everything, right? When you want people just even like open their mind to that might be a possibility. Let's test it. Let's find out if it does or doesn't. And then someone like what she was doing spreads misinformation, information that has not been tested, careless news, fake news. I'm going to say fake news because nobody knows that for sure. I feel like that's doing the knowledge that you're closing people's minds from the real truth. And that, like, it's weird because right now, even in my persuasive speech class, the whole thing we're studying is about a lie. What is a lie? What is misinformation? Well, one of the things is by having media looking like to some people that, like she's got a team of people that listen to her, looking like, what you say, what you look into, what you're trying to find out as being the truth. People trust, like, I don't know why maybe you guys are here partly because of that, because that I'm going to ask questions, or I've got some level of integrity to not like play the game and want to be liked, at least that, right? Like I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to ask questions. And probably because you ask questions, you're like, wait a second here. Like, why do we even say, we're in the matrix or things aren't the way I think they are? Because most people that are attracted to that are actually trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. That's what I want to know. I'm like, what is going on? What is this? Are children really in danger? And if they are, then what is this circus going on here? Like, why can't we get it together and fix it if that's the case? And my feeling about that, about her, because you'll see she has videos talking about me saying, I can have a YouTube channel. I can have as many YouTube channels that I want. Tere, she's like talking like that in the video. I can play one for you. I got copies. Just because I like to have a paper trail of like the things that are happening just in case it gets really out of hand. Like, how do we know who these people are that you're dealing with on YouTube, or when they're, using a sock puppet account to spy on your chat room for whatever, because they've got to hide their identity from you for some reason? Then why are they doing that? Like, why is it that a person needs to hide their identity and then be somebody that would be an enemy to you, or somebody that you feel like uncomfortable about, or somebody that you blocked? Do you see where I'm going here with this? To me, this matters. I've been stressed out about it even. And I'm working on not being reactive about it anymore. But I have proof now. It's been witnessed. Before I would talk about it like, oh, this person's doing this online here, and I'm, trolls happen here, trolls happen there, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh yeah, right. Like, that's, you're just paranoid. You think you're a TI, you think you're this, think you're that, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize it's actually the media itself. And this woman's done this to me. When I questioned her, see, what happened was I found several Facebook profiles that she had, right? And then I realized I was friends with more than one profile. And then I realized that one of the profiles was the same name of a missing girl, the missing girl's parents. And she was going nuts over the host that did a show on it and saying that she was, threatening her and attacking her and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, I'm getting kicked out of the Jimmy Gems chat room. And I questioned, all I did was I questioned, why is your name Crystal Rose Montgomery on your Facebook profile? Which, by the way, when you went into the photo section, had tons and tons and tons of memes and basically memes of things that had to do with that could have been considered medical information. I cannot believe that it was like still on there. And I'm like, wow, so here's this person, like, let's just profile people. Go with me for a second on this. This is what I find interesting about it, is you have this person that first is in the new age, Barbara Melchiak, talks about Simon Parks, watches, Carrie Cassidy in this group. Of course, our media went into this Alex Jones right-wing, President Trump thing happened, right? Okay. All that was like boom, 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 in some ways. And it was still connected to the UFOlogy. Goes back to Carrie Cassidy, goes back to things that maybe Max or, whomever, whatever said blank, blank, blank. Okay, so Mark, do you know who I'm talking about, right? Oh, did they? Yeah, they did let. I'm looking at a Thermal Mermaid. You're asking me something. Did they ever let Rick Simpson out of prison? Yeah, I think he did. But you know what? He's not even his own. He's out of his own country. I think he's exiled. There's a lot of guys like that. There's another one that I used to talk to. I used to communicate with some of those guys. I did a show with Rick Simpson once. I got a chance to interview him once. I should find out where that footage is. But I was heavily into everything that's about the cannabis plant. I actually used the oil tonight. I'm using the oil tonight. I'm not smoking it. Lately I've just been using the oil. I don't know if I'm sick or not, but I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna, because he said, Rick Simpson when I interviewed him, he said that you should use it as maintenance. Like you should just use the oil as a preventative for cancer. Now, again, I'm not claiming any medical thing here, but I just know the people. I know people that spoke about the cannabis plant in that way, and they got heavily. So I think they might even been killed for it. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Yeah. So that made me a believer. And it just makes me distrust institutional ways in medicine because of the suppression and the lies. Because they lied. They like our own, the yellow journalism with William Randolph Hearst. They lied back then. And the people that are controlling the corporations and stuff like that are ruining this planet, lied, and they worked together to get rid of them, to get rid of cannabis. It was their competition. That's how the world works. I don't think it's working for us. It's not working for us, really. That's how we've done it. But I think that's what our problem is as people. Like, when are we going to grow up? When we deny natural resources that will benefit people. It makes me feel like we're just a bunch of cows here, that we're just grazing, that we're just like in our own little pen, and screw everything. It's like, well, but if you could cure, if it did cure, if it does help, better than other treatments that people have right now where you don't have to lose your hair for it. Something simple like that. Then what a disgrace and a crime against humanity. Look how much we're suffering. And it's all about the dollars, right? And so hemp, hooray, normal. Yep, the cotton companies banned hemp. So a lot of times you're celebrating, right on, Mark. We're all celebrating. Maybe this is the conversation. I know, like, I just wanted to come on and stream, and I want to talk about this, Deborah, because it's important to me. Like she goes, well, why are you listening to me? Why are you paying attention to me? It's because I'm watching people do things in the media that I've been in. So I think it's interesting. And I'm like, what are you doing and why? And the thing that got me the most, and I think that this is why she's pissed. Like, she accused me of doxing her in the chat room of this Ernie Shell guy show. And it was the first time I was in there, and I kept asking questions like, what are you doing to, save the children? What's your next plans to help save children? I never got an answer. It's more like, I'm going to be giving prizes away later. And, and then talking about like some woman named Candace who got drunk and might be having a stroke, and everybody hates her, but they're also concerned that she might have killed herself with alcohol and drugs. And, just ridiculous shit. And then there she is, Rose, at Team Rose is in there. And like when you're in a chat room and then somebody, that your nemesis is gonna saying things that that it's meant specifically for you. You know what I'm talking about, right? So she's doing that in the chat room to me. And I just started to go back to college, right? So I'm in the middle of studying at the same time as half listening to this guy. Like I'm multitasking, right? And I look down and I know, and I tell myself, just ignore it because they don't know you. You're just observing this. Do not get into it. Do not. Like I'm telling myself, don't get into it, right? And there's this moderator that they went by the name Barbara Walters. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like you're Barbara, Wawa, like you're Barbara Walters. Right? I'm like, come on, right? That's made up. Maybe not. All right, I'm just trying to be a little bit funny here, right? But I'm just Barbara Walters. Yeah, I'm so sure you're Barbara Walters. So Barbara Walters is in there, I guess, and she's friendly with Rose, who, by the way, the reason why I even went to this guy, Ernie Shell, is because, and I'm going to show you, I'll show you the comment that was on my my channel. I took a screenshot of it, and then when I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. Sometimes, when people comment on YouTube, sometimes you can't go back and you can't find it again. I don't know if the person took the comment away or I don't know, it's a weird thing, but sometimes I still take a picture of it anyways, because maybe psychically I can feel that it might not stay there. So I took a screenshot of it. I'm going to show it to you for documentation. Here, why don't I just go ahead and share it? I can still kind of talk while have it. So okay, yeah, here it is. All right. Yay. Okay, so probably a drag name. I just saw that right before. Probably, right? Probably a drag name. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge it a little bit here so maybe you can get a good view of it. I'm going to go into the screen just to see how that looks. Oh, yeah, I got to take myself out of it. Okay. All right. So here's what it was. It said, well, this makes me extremely suspicious about Ernie Shell's hat raffle. He had everyone do a $20 raffle entry to win his famous hat, and they choose this lady as the winner. She admits that she bought it several times in his chat, and I witnessed her offer him $6,000. I wanted to believe Ernie was one of the good guys. I sure hope I didn't get duped again by these creators. I thought Benny Keys, don't know who he is yet either, was a good guy in the beginning too, only to find out he was a sick child exploiter. Now I'm wondering, is this lady another person in on setting up Ernie Shell, or was this a secret money scamming ploy between them all? What a disappointment. I understand he needs the money for lawyer fees, and that's why I gave the entry money, but he should have done an auction instead of deceiving his supporters. I'm not saying he did this, as it looks to me like this Rose character may not be so trusting, and maybe Ernie needs to be careful once again. And so, okay, so, all right, so the raffle, I think what the implication is, and I've been hearing things from other people watching their channels because, kind of bubbled up in terms of the hat thing. And there are people talking about the hat. They think that Rose paid him money, like in the tune of possibly $6,000. And then because of that, he gave her, even though it was a raffle, he just gave her the hat as just like, oh, I guess the winner of this raffle is Rose. And a lot of people feel like, oh, and that's why, maybe Barbara Walters was favoring Rose in the chat, because I got timed out. This is the first time I've ever gotten timed out on the chat. And why did I get timed out on the chat? Well, because I was, I knew she was saying stuff to me for me. And I was like, okay, don't look at that. Don't look at that. And then there was one thing that she said where she accused me of doxing her. All right. And I don't know, like maybe some of you guys don't know this, but I went back to college and I'm working on getting a degree in journalism, media, and film. That's what I want my bachelor's to be. I'm starting with my journalism with the transfer. I'm almost there on the transfer. I'm doing really well. I got a 4.0 last semester. I'm hoping I'll do it this semester, but I might get a B in math because I'm not good at math. But still, I went to school so that I'd like to learn how to be a journalist. I like to learn how to do media right. And when I mean right, I mean with integrity. And with integrity, you know what that means? That means you don't dox people. That means you don't give them their information, or you don't use sock puppet accounts to get information and spy on them, or you don't get fake email accounts to harass them and then disappear. None of that stuff. You're going to protect, even when you're getting information, even when you're getting truth for somebody. If you think that what they're saying is going to endanger their life or cause any distress or whatever, then you protect their identity. You have to get permission to use that information. And if that's what I want to be like, I think anybody can be a journalist, or anybody can maybe learn how to write, or anybody can, speak or whatever, well, if they want to, or do a podcast. But do you do it with ethics? Do you do it with the ethics that they, that's part of, there's a whole, I've looked at it, the ethics for journalism, blah, 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 blah. You read it. Now, do people not follow the ethics? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that the standard doesn't exist. And that standard exists within the person. Information is very important to people. It's important to me. And I feel that if you can give that information as pure as you can, in terms of what you have found and researched and believed to be the truth, you can't. The whole thing about being definite, this is definitely, the spirituality. This is definitely the way it is. This definitely happened, when you don't really have it's a theory, it's a conspiracy, it's a hypothesis. It is not a fact. And somehow, as people, in this media or whatever, we forgot that. If anything that I've learned by going back to school is understanding how it's the hypothesis about a lot of the primates and the evolution and demand and this and that and what happened. They're hypotheses. They're not even theories, really. Some of it, not all of it. I mean, some of it is, theories or facts or whatever, but they still really don't know a lot. We still really don't know a lot. And, it's when you say I have the answers, when you put yourself in front of a camera and you give yourself that authority in some ways, oh, you know what? You should listen to me or what I'm writing about, because I'm that I'm going to do my thorough whatever, and I've got credibility for whatever reason. Entertainment, whatever. You do something well. Are you going to be ethical, or are these people real? To me, they do not look like they give a shit about kids. They care about themselves and whatever little game they're playing between each other. In their chat, so-and-so does this, so freaking high school. And you're talking about missing children. Wow. It's kind of disgusting to me. And why would I bring up her name? Why would I choose? Because I know it was perfectly legal for me to say that at Team Rose is Deborah Director, because she is an actress. because she is an actress, gave me the legal permission, really. It's not doxing. It's not giving up your identity. You have a public identity as an actress with that name that anybody can find on IMDb. And I showed it in a video. I even showed it. I didn't show her home address. I didn't go, hey, this is where she lives. I said, here's her part in that movie. There she is, like in the thumbnail I showed at the beginning of this video, wearing her smock, wearing the stethoscope, because she played Tom Wilkins's assistant, and I believe he was a dentist in the movie. That's why she's wearing a white coat in that picture. And I find it interesting that she is an actress and she's upset that I mentioned that she was in a movie, when for most actresses, that would be considered publicity that they would want. So what's up with that? Like, what's up with an actress who already has their name out there, already a public personality, 4 different YouTube channels, different profiles with different names that don't belong to her, living in different places that she doesn't live in, hiding her identity, and she's upset about me. She's accusing me of doxing her because I found out that she was actually an actress. And I'll tell you what, I suspected it already. Because I'll tell you something, it takes one to know one. Takes one to know one. She was just a little bit too theatrical for me to think. I was like, is she an actress? And I'm beginning to wonder, and again, this is a hypothesis. I can't prove it. But guess who else was an actor that I mentioned earlier? Kai Irving, who was Mr. Buonon doing the Pedo March in Hollywood, and Operation Mayflower, and hacking Stephen D. Kelly's Buonon group, whom I think is full of it too, because he jumped on that train. So Kai is an actor. Who else was an actor? Oh, let's just think about it. When he died, they called him Judas Iscariot, right? Isaac Cappy, actor. Angela Paradisney, actor, actress. She's been in the theater. I even did a video where I showed her saying that on her interview with Miles Johnston. I mean, just because you're an entertainer or an actress doesn't mean that you're not here to do the good work, right? But it's kind of interesting though. Like, if you're going to make a chart of different types of people that are involved with this, then let's do it. Well, you know, who's talking to Sean Hannity and going and with a wobbly voice going, you know, the bad thing is that, you know, maybe like we're refraining from using nuclear warfare when we really should be using it. Sean Penn, you know, going to Mexico to meet El Chapo with, you know, the novella actress. You know, she's thinking they're working on a documentary, but Sean Penn steps in and goes, can I do an article for you? Because I'm writing for the Rolling Stones. Takes a picture, and then boom, El Chapo's are busted and, you know, given to Trump on a silver platter. with Sheriff Arpaio, right? And Champagne's in there. What's Champagne doing in there? What's Champagne doing in there? Ever watch a movie called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, directed by George Clooney? You should. I might even watch it again, because I actually think that some of the people that are working for the CIA and our agents are actually actors. That's my opinion. All right. That's my dot connecting. Now, I could be wrong, but what better than an actress or an actor to raise shit on YouTube, cause drama, instigate things, be able to create different personas. Something about them that makes people want to watch them. Right? Crazy, loony, whatever. You're watching for some reason. And, the actor thing got me about Deborah. And the fact that there was like the whole argument in Jimmy Jam's chat and the way it went down and the volatile aspect of it and the, like she called the cops on this other, and Avery's a media host. This is media hosts, YouTube channel people treating YouTube channel people like when you have a cop showing up at your doorstep because some woman is saying that that they're gonna they're stalking them or something, but you're not stalking them, but they're just like malicious, like they're crazy, like they're like Amber Heard, right? Like we don't know for sure, but it looks that way. I don't know if you saw the trial today. I was going to share some footage with you, just maybe on the way out tonight. You've probably seen some of it. But the clips of what she was the one doing the slapping, putting a cigarette on his cheek and, putting it out on his cheek to where a burn mark on his cheek, throwing a vodka bottle to where the tip of his finger gets cut off. And then she goes to the media, right? Because even Johnny Depp said today, he goes, "Oh, you know what? I'm on the stand." He was on the stand, and he said, about being a celebrity. Like he goes, he says one of the things that's hard is that anybody can say anything they want about you. And I think that's something that we have to realize too, as being like YouTube people, even on the smaller level, even like Rose or me. Like Rose has said horrible things about me on her channel. Absolutely awful. Like I'm a clone and I've lost my consciousness. I hate the mean Tere. I was a fan of hers before, that out of everything. I don't care if she's called a mean clone or whatever, but the fact that she put herself on a pedestal and said I was a fan, I was like, wow, who's the narcissist, right? It's like a fan. Like you have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Who's a fan here? Like, are we fans? I know I'm wearing my college, team hat on, but, it's like, fan of what? Like, I don't have a team. Like, I don't wear a t-shirt. She has a t-shirt. She even has a t-shirt that says Team Rose on it. Team what? Team what? What is your team doing? I don't know. I challenge anybody. Is anybody in the chat? Are you part of Team Rose? Have you said, hey, what's on my resume? Well, I'm blank and I did this and I went there and I'm also a member of Team Rose. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh like that, but what is the team doing? Saving the children? Or just these are your fans, these are your minions. Hey, everybody, I have minions, but because I've got, some YouTube channels and whatever. It's insane. And what about the children? Like, I kept asking in that chat, like, what about the children? Hey, is there any updates on Summer Wells? Crickets. Absolute crickets. And so I'd like to show you I'm not your biggest fan. Mr. Penguin always faces north. LOL. She was a fan. She was a fan before you were a clone. Yes. You know, I mean, it's funny to me. Like, I look back and I laugh. I go, you know what? People saying I'm a clone. You know, it's kind of bizarre. I totally ran across these types in the true crime community. Total rabbit hole with receipts. Receipts. You know, the receipt thing is just. Receipts has become a funny topic too. So like, I don't mean to make it like an inside joke if you don't know what I'm talking about, but from misery. The team is the multiple profiles. Well, here's the deal. Like, and one thing I want to make, like, to me, a clue of somebody who you might not want to trust has multiple profiles. Like, I have one profile on Facebook, and even that I had to show every single side of my face because of other reasons. I had to prove I was who I was in order to get another Facebook profile. And it's just me. I'm not going to pretend to be anybody else. Because let's say you make friends with somebody and they have more than one profile, and then you get mad at them and you don't want to be in contact with them, and then you block them. Well, guess what? They can still see what you're doing with with the other profiles. That's trick number one. And to me, like, if somebody is doing that, then they should. Then you really maybe shouldn't trust them. That you know, I mean, like, okay. So I've seen that with not just her. I've seen that with other people. And then if you were arguing with them, they will use their other profile to argue with you too. So it looks like 2 people or 3 people are arguing with you, but it's still the same person. And that's something else. Now, why people that troll somebody or target somebody, that's what they do. That's part of it. All right. So if somebody's doing that, they're either part of a troll on some level, or they're just crazy. In the sense, like, because like one of the things that she says in her videos is she's like, don't call me crazy. I'm like, okay, I don't want to call her crazy. But I find that behavior to be really deceptive, and it's like it gangs up. Like, even if it is just one person, for some reason, seeing it like 3 different times and 3 different personas like saying the same thing back at you is like an energy thing. It's like, even if you say, I know it's bullshit, it's still like a negative energy. You know, this has different, all kinds of levels to it in a way. Because, like, one thing of my own experience with cyber harassment or targeted harassment online is that you can say, I know these words aren't the truth, and I know they don't mean anything. But it's just even the flash of your device going off, or buzz this, buzz that it's like constantly being visually bombarded, even if you just see it for a glimpse, right, of insults and stuff. And you say, well, that doesn't affect me. But then I think it does. It can sometimes. Even if you know it's not true. And that's the power in it. So if you see somebody who's doing that with multiple profiles, then where's this person where is their energy at? that they would spend that much time doing it. And then my question is, and people say, well, people got hired to be that way. Okay, so if they get hired to be that way, then is some of it, and I'm not saying all of it, could some of it be actually hired by the military or whatever? Because that court case with the governor of Michigan, and the whole thing about her being kidnapped and everything. And then they were going to they were right-wing people that kidnapped her during the COVID pandemic. And they were this and that. Well, that is, they're now saying the FBI was trying to organize it and trying to entice them into something like that, when they never really had plans to do it. They were being so if the FBI is doing that and the media is displaying it as right-wing people, why do you think that that's happening? Well, I can think about it right now, but I just don't want to say it. Why it would be, because the one thing that I am thinking that why it would be happening is absolutely so deceptive and frightening that is what they want. That to me, that shows you that the media or in politics, they would love to profile a group of people as being, and I don't want to say the word, domestic, whatever. The right-wing people are definitely the nut jobs. Maybe they're the ones that need to be, And then again, it also creates more division between us to where we can't unite and talk about what our government might be doing, even from both sides. Because I think one thing that the left and the right, we do have in common is that it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a liberal to think, well, maybe this is the Matrix. Oh, wait a second. Is that really fair? I mean, people are trying to put Joe Rogan into, one place. They want to put him into oh, he's a right winger. He's, when I don't think I've never heard of him, or it's you can't talk like that and not be that. You can't ask these questions. You can't question this and not be that. And if you question this, then we're going to tell you that you're that. And that's it. That's what I think. To me, that's what's happening here. And so when you look at things and you read, when you look at those things and you read about this happening in Michigan and the court case and how, they got off because the people there was not enough evidence. And there was this brush of in the reporting of the FBI organizing it. It wasn't really blatant, but I read it and it was it was an article because in my journalism class, we're required to look at articles and we say, what do you think is the most important story of the week? And for me, that was the most important story. I also thought it was interesting that there was a animal rights activist that glued her hand to the table during a board meeting, and everybody just moved into another room and called the paramedics. They go, okay, well, let's move on. We'll just, you deal with your hand. That's how much they cared, I thought that was an interesting article. It was the bizarre and that. Why would they spend that much time to create a right-wing narrative? So it bothers me because I consider I consider someone like Rose or at Team Rose to be part of this media. She has a channel. She has influence. She does videos about Barbara Melchick and, she's wearing crystals and everything. She knows the players that we talk about in this, little YouTube experience we're having. And yet the whole time she's an actress with a different name using multiple profiles. And she's hanging around true crime podcasts that are just discussing about like these missing girl cases, little girl cases that are quite heated, by the way. One of them, the Harmony Montgomery one. Yeah, well, when I started talking about that, I had people like with fake sock puppet accounts causing problems in my chat room. Like, it's almost like, you know, you don't even want to touch that one. And here we have a person who has a YouTube channel that is deceptive about who they are and their identity. They have multiple profiles. They use sock puppet accounts to, like, you know, to argue with you and other people. It's not just me this has happened to. Gets kicked out of some chat rooms, but then I think what happens is when she gives the host money, because she has money, I think, she gets to have carte blanche into creating this abuse. And so some way, I think she's got like the whole game is just entertainment. It's all just entertainment on the internet. I don't think these people are doing a squat to help these children be found. And it bothers me. And that's why I brought it up. And that's why I said that she was an actress and she was in this movie and blank, 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 because it's true, because that is a fact. Now, if that upset her, that's not really my problem, but it got me a timeout in this bullshit type of true crime podcasting, whatever, that is just a ruse of money and jokes and drama, pretending to say that you're getting your nonprofit status to save children. And that is, there's something for me, just by how this is being presented, there's something not right for me about this person and what they're doing and their channel. And, you know, it's personalities like this that push a right-wing narrative and maybe might just, you know, run around with guns or whatever and make everything more shittier than it is right now about dealing with any missing children or having free speech or doing whatever, because pretty soon it's going to be, oh, you know what? It's those people that wear red that are the party. They think they should be, they're going to call it hate speech. They're going to do, anything could happen in that. To me, that's where the narrative's running. If the FBI, if they lose a court case because a suspect that the FBI was grooming these people to kidnap her in order to play out some political narrative, don't you think any of these jokers wouldn't be doing the same damn thing? That's my argument about it. Because I'll tell you something, Miss Deborah has a video where she's showing a video of his that's all pumped up with this music, and there's a picture of that guy, Ernie Shell, holding an AK-47 as a part of the Team Save the Children. And you think that that's a good image to associate with people that they want to say that it doesn't even exist? Come on now. That's where my head's going. It's like, oh, great. Now you've got some guy and they're going to go, and those are the people that they want to say, well, they want to say that a Lauren Pritchard who runs around at the border getting arrested for not wearing a mask on a bus or whatever happened or whatever, preaching this Save the Children, and she's all nutty on her channel. What do you think? What message does that give to people on a political spectrum? That's not helping the children. That's actually, you're in the way. And then I'm wondering, and then I find out that they're actors, they're actresses on top of it while they're doing it. And I'm just like, And then I'm an actress. So you can sit here and go, oh, well, you know what? Who's to say that I'm not acting and I'm not a provocateur and they're the ones who are like the legitimate people. And then probably somebody will take this clip maybe and go, see, she's probably MK Ultra. She probably is whatever, blank, blank, blank. But you know what? In my being, I'm not doing this, show tonight because, I want to bitch about the fact that I got kicked. I got timed out in a chat room. I didn't even really get kicked out. I just got timed out. Time out for saying that the fact that you mentioned somebody's Screen Actors Guild name, on IMDb is not doxing. I get time out for stating the obvious, for saying, hey, wait a second, Rose, if you're accusing me of doxing you, and I'm a journalism major, I need to tell you exactly what is not doxing. And Rose, if somebody shows you this video and they go, oh, you know what, blank, 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 I'm telling you right now that what you said in that chat room, like your accusation that I had doxed you, I didn't when you're an actress who had a pretty substantial role in the movie In the Bedroom, and you acted opposite Tom Wilkinson, who's a very well-known actor. You're alongside A-list respected actors. Sissy Spacek was on that film. You're an IMDb, and you're going to say that that's doxing. Well, I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to defend myself on my channel because I know that there's probably, who knows who was in that chat room, right? Ernie Shell or whatever. I don't, if you look at my channel and maybe you don't even care because you have a lot more people looking at you. Because what you talk about is attracting a lot of people. But if you're just messing with them, if you're just like a carnival show, then I feel sorry for the real sincere people that actually really want to help children. And if somebody who obstructs people online and is whatever gets to like have a little free pass because they're giving money to you, that they're part of your legal defense fund, then you're compromised there too in terms of like what might be fair in your chat room. And that's how I feel about it. But the worst thing is like, why? And, she was featured in the BBC documentary about Max Spears, and they made her, she played the part of the nutty person. Like, I always wonder, like, are these people just provocateurs to play the part of the nutty person? Like, the Shakespeare, we're all actors making our entrance and our exits. All the world's a stage. Trump is just a reality television star who played the other hand for us all still to get fucked. Right? Because I'm like, if people, where are you swinging on your thought? I'm swinging with that. Like this is just like, it's like the Johnny Depp thing, right? I mean, yeah, it's his life, but we're watching his life, but it's just like, this is where we're at as people. Reagan also. Yeah. Yeah, Reagan's an actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger, governor of California, actor. The guy in Ukraine, comedian, actor. They're actors. They're actors. Michael Prince said there's groups that stop people from speaking out. Yeah, of course. I totally believe that. I mean, I mean, he's just confirming, I think, the obvious. I think it's obvious that that's what's happening. Bunch of voyeurs, LOL. Okay, and another thing. Okay, so I want to show you I guess I'm going late tonight. I mean, I got all my homework done, so I don't have to worry about anything for tonight. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna live stream for a little while. I almost was feeling really tired, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just talk for a little bit. I'm promising myself to do at least one live stream a week, and then I upload one podcast on Anchor, and then it goes to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. So, and the next thing is I want to make a requirement to do at least 2 blog articles a month on stuff. But I might do more videos, but at least once a week. I just gotta, and tonight might be that once a week, although I've been started a series to analyze James Casbolt interviews right now. And I've been wanting to do this one that I found, just like as if it's like popcorn theater, just like going over and picking apart, because it's interesting. It's interesting to look at these guys, like looking back, like looking at where we're at now, and then to look at what the things that they said. And I'm not saying that because I have a lot of suspicion about some of the super soldier stuff, but those 2 guys are interesting to me in terms of some of the stuff that they talk about with the elite and the Illuminati, because of the fact that Max, why was he Orlando Bloom's childhood friend? Why was Orlando Bloom his childhood friend? One of his childhood friends. Why? Well, because his grandfather was an actor. And he is connected. I do believe he's connected to royalty, right? He is connected to bloodline. Like there's a picture of his aunt or his grandmother, getting flowers from Princess Diana or something like that. Like seriously. That's why the BBC probably goes, yeah, okay, we'll do a documentary on this, because he comes from a family that's connected that way. And, I think that's the same with James Casbolt in a sense, because he had a child and he married into the Meyer family, Haley Meyer's family. They're Meyer's grocery stores. We have a chain out here in California. So, when they met, maybe, James Casbolt's bullshitting on some of the super soldier things that he did or whatever, but they were close. Like, you can't get any closer to money, really, or elite than the Meyer family. And he was married into it. So he has to know something. Was he saying those things just in retaliation against them and just making it up? Because I don't know the answers to this. But that little connection there, like for me, is, when it comes to James Casbolt, is interesting. Take away all of the, UFO stuff or whatever, if you're a believer or not believer, I haven't, one way or another. He does know something. See, yeah, Thermal Mermaid. Yeah, he does know something. And look what happened to them. Where is James Casbolt? Where? It's kind of mysterious right now. And then Max died. So the old man is a reptile. Wait. You should do a story on January 6th in the Argus IS and the cell phone ping data. Most all LARPs. Okay, I'll look into that. You know what, you guys? And here's something I wanted to bring up on the tonight. What do you want me to talk about? Like, I'm thinking about things like, what do you like? Do you like it when I have guests? Do you like it when I do a round table? Do you want comedy bits? Do you want what would you like me to do? What topics do you want to talk about? What people do want me to look into or whatever. Just let me know. Because, I'll do it. I mean, bearing it's not, you know, like gonna get me kicked off of YouTube, right? Okay. And if you watch this far in the video, then let me know in the comments what you think you want me to do or talk about. Or if you want to email me, I'm at TereJoyce@notmyrabbithole.com. And that's TereJoyce. If you want to email me any information. All right. That's connected to my website. All right. So Johnny Depp, let's look at a video of Johnny Depp that I want to show you, because wait, which one was it? Wait, let me, sorry. My library, my history. Which one was I doing we to talk about? I think it's this one. Yeah. I hope I got the right one. Okay, hold on. Wait. All right, this is Mr. H reviews, and most of this is just like it's footage of the trial. So I should put my fair use banner on. Okay. Okay. And all right, so let's do this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this trial is still ongoing, of course. This is...
Let me get it to where it goes here.
You know, we've heard this stuff.
Here we go.
If you lost memory last night of kicking me out the door with the fucker hitting me,
again,
and your memory.
Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me go back a little bit more. Okay, so this is like actual recording, okay, of their.
I'm telling you, if you lost.
Okay, let me this is actual recording of her admitting slapping him and stuff like this. This is the shocking part. Yeah, I'm right. I just want to share this with you, because okay, we're talking about a lie. We're talking about people who lie. Let me make sure that I have. Let me put myself in here a little bit. No, not there. Okay. We're talking about the fact that she accused him of beating her, and she got money in a charity for domestic violence, women, and everything. She became a poster person for people that suffer from domestic violence. And it was in the media, and when Johnny Depp said, when you're a public person, they can say anything about you, and I'm doing this trial because it's affected my family, and basically he's saying that I'm not guilty of domestic violence and these are lies. And now you're finding that, and in fact, she was abusing him. All right. And I almost think that the type of person that she is or the dynamics of their relationship, it's like it's the narcissist relationship, or even, you know, maybe the Machiavellian personality, or you know, like I just learned recently that you have the narcissist, the Machiavellian, and then also the psychotic personality. If you have all of those, like it's a triangle, if you have all of that, you are definitely a psychopath. And I mean, when you realize that she was the perpetrator, but then she literally caused his finger to be cut off, you're gonna hear this is shocking to me. All right, so let's start. Let's get going here.
And give the video a like and a share.
I'm telling you, if you lost memory last night of kicking me out the door with the fucker hitting me,
Again,
and
sorry.
and your memory is gone from you kicking the bathroom door and hitting me in the skull as I was bent down.
I am
Wait,
sorry.
if you have those memory fucking, you know, divots.
I was upset. There was a lot going on,
okay,
and I was on an Ambien. Like,
Okay,
why are you obsessing over the fact that I can't remember it the way you remembered it? I said I was sorry. I didn't deny it.
That. I'm not talking about that. What I want. No, it's not to get you mad. It's not to get. It's just to get out of a bad situation while it's happening before it gets worse. In Australia, when we had the big fight where I lost the tip of my finger, at least 5 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms I went to
avoid talking to me. To
To
avoid
escape
working it
the-
out. That's
to
the
escape
problem.
the fight.
You don't escape the fight. You escape the solution.
No.
You escape the solution.
No.
You escape figuring it out. We cannot work it out if you run away to the bathroom every time.
Listen to me. Listen to me. A boxer can't go 12 rounds without a fucking minute break.
I'm not giving you a minute break. You do it at minute 3 at the beginning of an argument.
No. There are rounds, man. And when it gets too fucking hairy, the ref splits them apart or whatever. But all I'm saying is you can't have a solution if the argument just keeps mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting. I fucking go into the bathroom and sit on the floor. Bam, bam, bam. Here you come. I come out. Fight. Crazy. Escalated. I split again. I go to another fucking bathroom or a bedroom or something. Knock, knock, knock. Bang, bang, bang. You kept coming to get me. I'm not the one who fucking throws fucking pots and
Those are different. That's different.
fucking else at me.
That's different. That's one does not negate the other. That's irrelevant. It's a complete non sequitur. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come.
How you seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
And you're justifying that by saying I throw pots and pans? Okay, cool. Let's talk about everything you do, Rob.
I'm not the one who. I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing. And
You figured it out.
And you said, no, fucking, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I
didn't
watched
punch
you
you.
lie. And then
I didn't punch you,
and
by
then
the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights have been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close
You
face.
didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but your fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start.
You're such a baby. Grow the fuck up,
Because you
Johnny.
start physical fights.
I did start a physical
Yeah,
fight.
you did. So I had
Because-
to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable.
Mr. Depp, could you please explain to the jury what they just heard on those audio recordings?
What was just played on the audio recordings was very much the tone and the aggression and the attitude and the need for a fight from Ms. Heard. That was, I don't know if that was some need for attention, but that was a sound that I had gotten very used to. The squabbling, the raising of the voice to essentially excommunicate anything that I had to say about the situation. But then, and I do remember that incident. I believe that's from the when I was in the bathroom, and I was in fact taking a shower, and this was in penthouse 3, and she came banging on the door, banging on the door, banging on the door. I didn't answer. I was in the shower. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't want to deal with any more of
Oh, darn it.
of that sarcastic, demeaning, aggressive, violent, toxic spew. And so I was taking a shower and I didn't want to answer the door. She kept banging. And then I finally got out of the shower and I opened the bathroom door about just that much, just so I could have a good hold on the door in case she tried to burst in. And I was right, she did. Bathroom doors go in. She was pushing all her weight on the door, trying to get in. And I was pushing back because I didn't want to let her in, because I obviously didn't want the confrontation. She was not in best of moods. You can hear. So when I was pushing the bathroom door, trying to close it, and was almost closed, she suddenly kind of yelped in pain. And she screamed out, "Ow, my toes or my foot or something." And so in that second, I thought possibly her foot had gotten caught under the door, which would, of course, not feel great on the foot or the toes, so she was maybe injured. So I knelt down to have a look. The door was still, it was still pretty well about that much open. And when I knelt down on my hands and knees to look at her foot, foot to see the injury. She kicked the bathroom door into my head. She kicked the bathroom door into my head, and I was completely taken aback by such a corrosive, horrific move. So I stood up, and I believe I stood up, and at this point the door was open. I stood up and I said, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And the next move was just a bang, and she clocked me in the jaw. And that was another shocker.
How
So
long after that did you start recording?
Sorry?
How long after that did you start recording that audio recording that we just heard?
That audio recording was about her trying to make less of what had happened. In fact, trying to make less of what had happened by repeating some story to me that didn't make any sense. And it certainly didn't make any sense since I was there and I was the target. So I wanted some confirmation from someone with some semblance of a mind that could understand what was happening. I wanted Mr. McGivern to come up, and I asked her to tell him what had just happened. And her answer was essentially, I don't know what he's talking about. Nothing happened. He's fine. And once again, I told Mr. McGivern, time to leave the premises.
So this is from Mr. H Reviews, and you know what? I'm gonna put it in the chat, a link. Let me try to get it to stop here. Darn it. Okay, that's what I need to do. Shit. What happened here? Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna get this out. Anyway, so I wanted to share that. That's Mr. H Reviews. I'll make sure I put it in the description too. He's a filmmaker and he talks about Hollywood stuff. So I subscribe to his channel. I kind of find him interesting. He was covering some of the Alec Baldwin stuff. Remember Alec Baldwin? Okay, that wasn't too long ago either. So, yeah. I don't know. I find it I guess the main point for me, the reason why I'm showing it to you is just the deception of stuff and how the media fed into it. I even saw it today because I've been watching some of the trial, and one of the Fox News or one of the major, I asked in the chat, that chat I didn't get timed out in. I said, where is this? Because they were showing a caption making it still look like Johnny Depp was really, the bad guy and doing all this stuff. And if you've been watching the trial, which some people online have been streaming, you will see that that it's not so. If you start to watch, now it'd be interesting to see how it ends. She's got to get on the stand. But a lot of the evidence, especially with that, to hear her own voice saying and admitting to slapping him in the face and everything, and then he's saying, "You punched me," and that's a real conversation. I don't know how she's going to get past that. And there's more. And then, there's, I was watching some other footage where she threw a vodka bottle at him, and it sliced the tip of her finger off, his finger off. And he plays guitar, and then it was bad. I mean, he even got MRSA after it at one point, and he was filming on Pirates of the Caribbean. And what they did is they put like green dots on his bandages and they CGI'd it to make it look like he had his hand there. But like in Pirates of the Caribbean 5, he's injured by her. And now they had to put a rod in his finger. His finger's never going to be the same. And it's his right hand. It's the one that he's dominant. It's what he plays his guitar with. And he goes, it's got a little, this part right here is just, and it doesn't go. I mean, you wouldn't notice it unless he probably pointed it out. But once he pointed it out, you see that it's not going to be okay. And that's probably arthritis will settle in and everything like that. So, when he has evidence too of the pots and pans, like she's saying, he goes, you're throwing pots and pans. Well, then not only does she throw pots and pans, but she also throws, vodka bottles. And she really made a mistake by going to the media, and this is when the media doesn't hold itself accountable. This is when we're somewhere between like being a college journalist student where you learn the ethics of journalism and like what, to have integrity and all this kind of stuff. They don't care. They don't care what the integrity is. Just like, William Randolph Hearst didn't care about lying about the cannabis plant in order so that the oligarchs can make a bunch of money, right? Same thing here. It's like they don't care about, I don't even think it's about like whether or not it's about clickbait. It's about like, what do you want to pick up and read? What do you want to know? What do you want to believe? And the whole thing about, we are in public forum, even if it's just YouTube, then we're talking about each other on YouTube. And so like, where is the line where it's presentable? Well, the big line for this situation, this is like what happened is like, she goes to the media splashes him as being, domestic violent, and, Johnny Depp is a bad guy. And, blank, 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 blank. And people are selling papers or whatever, not thinking about what the damage to that person really is, because the paper's not supposed, you're not supposed to print stories or tell stories that you can't verify, and you don't have the facts, and you don't have witnesses, and blank, 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 blank. And to think that not only was she abusive to him, but then she had a charity behind her, and there was all this money being made and donated, and someone's profiting somehow on it. And then the whole thing's made up. If that's the case, then not only is she guilty, but the charity is, in a way, it seems dirty now, and so does the media, because they had no discretion they just went right in there over, a personal relationship between two actors or actresses, and exploited the shit out of it. And what is everybody else doing too? Like on YouTube, the clicks or whatever, when somebody talks about it, because it's clickbait now too. Like, even though things are topical and they need to be discussed, and it's on everybody's mind, and so you give the people what they want, right? The level of where, some of this stuff goes to is really, frankly, disgusting. And if anything, because I feel kind of guilty even like watching it in a way. Sort of. Because it's like that drama factor, it's like, I think in some ways, like as people, it's like you can feed on it or something, right? I'm just admitting it, I mean, I don't think it's just like, oh, it's just me that's like this. I mean, like, why do you think that this guy, Ernie Shell, has a YouTube channel where basically he's like, he goes, I'm giving away prizes today. and talking about drama and this and that when he's claiming to take donations to be saving children. Like, why do you think that happens? Oh, somebody said, what did we talk about here? We talk about whatever we want. We talk about whatever we want. Car crash TV. Okay, so Thermal Mermaid said, I don't believe this level of wet brain is able to have these detailed memories. So, okay, yeah, you know what? He seems like, I mean, he seems real foggy brained almost. Johnny Depp does. I think. And then he's like, and then this happened and that happened and I was going upstairs and blank, blank, blank. And so does it make you wonder if he's like, well, maybe he talks so slow because he's kind of making it up as he goes, or there's a script that he's trying to remember because he had to study the outline the night before, like a lot of times, like when you there's moments where I watch it and I go, is this just entertainment? Like, is he acting? Like, are they acting or are they real? Where's the sincerity level? Because he has these kind of like puppy dog eyes, they're like the Benny and June thing, he's got this sort of, whimsical, like even in Edward Scissorhands, he's got this torment behind the eyes, like you just want to go, oh, let me take care of you kind of thing about him, even though he's a 50-year-old man in his 50s. I think he's like 58 right now. So, and then we've seen him, I've kind of grown up with Johnny Depp. So we see him in these romantic, swooning types of parts. And as a woman, when you're viewing him, it's hard not to kind of go, oh, you don't want your hero or your fantasy to be a wife beater, really. And then you got to, and then it makes you wonder, okay, well, you got to check in with yourself about that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm familiar with domestic violence because that's what happened in my first marriage. I don't talk about it very much because of the fact that we were both comedians. And we knew several of the same people. And I just wanted to get away. I didn't feel safe. And, but I didn't want other people to know what happened. It was just like, oh yeah, okay, we split up. And I just wanted to go on with being a comedian, or doing the work. Like, I didn't, the only people that really knew about that aspect of my relationship with him was, a therapist that I got because I felt like I needed to go to therapy after that. And also my family knew. And of course his family knew, and then maybe some of my closest friends, but like I pretty much went through my life where when I finally actually admitted that I'd been married, people were shocked I had been married before. At some point I realized I would say, yeah, I'm like, somehow it came out that I know what it was. He showed up at a gig. He showed up at a comedy gig and somebody goes, hey, Tere, your ex, they would go, Willie Randolph was here or whatever. And he go, oh, I said his name. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Anyway. Oh, well, he goes by another name now, so a little bit different, I guess. He said he was your ex-husband, and they go, I didn't know you were married before, and I don't know. It's just like the natural instinct. If you are battered, or if you are emotionally abused, or if it did get violent, or if they did hold a knife at your neck, or, bit you on the nose or choked you or whatever, right? it's not something that you even want to talk about really, because there is like, for me, there was a level of shame to it, and I don't even know why I feel that way. Like, I almost feel like, well, I can't, why would I, you allow that to happen to you, you allow that to happen to yourself. Because I think that when you do get into like abusive relationships or relationships with people where, maybe they are a narcissist and whatever, or you're codependent, or maybe they abuse alcohol. Because like one of the things that comes up in this is that Johnny Depp talks about, they talk about his the alcohol drinking, the drugs. They took Molly at their wedding, the cocaine use, opiate addiction. And Johnny Depp seems to have like all these different doctors in this that travel with him. And he seems to be like, he's on different, even like, I think medications like lithium and psycho drugs. Not, I mean, I don't mean to say he's like psycho, but like, I don't know, maybe he has other issues, has been struggling with other things that mutate. I've been abused. Yeah, I mean, you know what? So many of us are. I'm wondering if it's because like we live in an abuse. Like I think, well, maybe we're not special. Like we live in an abusive world, and then you think, well, if it's that big, then what are we gonna do about it? Like where does the healing happen? Because like for me, I know I said this on one of my last shows and I've been thinking about it. It's like, I don't like, there's also a victim consciousness, like where, maybe even in our inner self, we feed on some of the drama, like part of us, like there's a benefit to the drama. And I'm okay to admit that maybe like I'm questioning these things in myself. And then I, question like looking at, drama and I don't really want to like, blame me or blame other people for it, because it's just we've literally been conditioned to it, into the drama, even the way like scripts are written and stories are told, and good guy, bad guy, and guy gets girl, and so falls in love, and blah 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 blah, and then so and so was married to a domestic violent person. And you know what? Like 50% of marriages don't work out. I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder about stuff. Like, we're going to war again. I mean, like, what happened to John Lennon and Give Peace a Chance? Like, what about, like, imagine living in a world of peace? Like, what happened? Like we're able to turn so quick to it. And it seems like, we want to blame eras, like, that was during Hitler's time, that was during that time, and people were like that. But are we different? Or do we just like flip a switch just like that, and we're wearing colors and shit, and running for our own war team? Like people, we talk about like, we're gonna like do crystals and have the ascension, and we're gonna go into 5D reality, and let's give me some money so I can get there. I so and so have the ability to see into your soul, whatever, and tell you like what you need to do for your life so that you can manifest your material desire, your fantasy island on the planet. And then you're going to go to 5D consciousness, and you're going to be that much amazing and perfect like all the other aliens out there that are perfect. And I have the ability to see that. We are of higher consciousness. We're higher beings. Meanwhile, this stuff is happening in the world. And, you know, if you look back into time and you see what happens, like anthropology is really just kind of like, I'm learning like biological anthropology. They're looking back in time, doing fossils, seeing what happened. Why were things extinct? What budded up afterwards and rebirthed into something else, into life that continues? And it's like, sometimes I'm seriously wondering, or like, is our form of the hominid, you know? Are we going to be extinct? And if we are extinct, it might be because we really couldn't raise ourselves up beyond going, mine, this is mine. And, you know, not like we just like say things like, you know, give peace a chance, or, you know, do the peace sign, or do whatever. Hey, peace, everybody. We're all one. When in reality, we're not. We are not anywhere near that. And we can't even figure that out yet collectively. That's what I'm feeling like. That's what I think I see today. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just being a little bit of a cynic. But I just feel like we're starting to run out of time here before we go, wait a second. You know, and then, you know, one thing I do want to bring up too, when you're talking about Max Spears, he talks about, like, especially in these, like, in the videos that I have on my Spotify, and he said it on other things too, about the duality, about the light and the dark, that you have to have war in order to have our 3D reality even to be in existence right now. Because it's what's required to be in this reality. And I had to say, I'm not so sure I agree with that. Like, I need a little bit more science on that. I mean, maybe a reality for certain people, you know, like maybe that reality is, and I'm just saying this, I'm just expressing ideas. I don't mean to judge us so harshly, but I'm just even looking inward at myself. Like, maybe we're not looking at our own mirror. Like, I'm working on a piece from my persuasion class, and I thought about it for a really long time. And the piece is kind of means something to me, and I think it means something to this community of people. And the piece was going to be, it's about like, you know, did the Nazis make contact with extraterrestrials during World War II? Because a lot of things, even in this community, is based on that theory that they did, and that we took their scientists for Operation Paperclip, and then, you know, it plays into the super soldier thing and the Uberman theory, and, you know, they have the Vril and the, you know, all that stuff is going on. You know, it's been a topic that's on the History Channel. You know, it's on Ancient Aliens. People, it's not like a new question. And at first, I was going to like try to convince that it was true. And then as I really started to look into it, I started to go, I can't 100% in my heart think that it is. Like, there's just not enough evidence. And there's evidence that it isn't. And, you know, I have to find a call to action for this particular speech. And the one thing that, for me, like, and even when I talk to my professor about it, like, the crux of it is I think that we're attracted to thinking that aliens inspired a human to do heinous acts upon other people on this planet. And we didn't want to have the balls or the gall. I don't think I can say balls in the speech, but we don't have, like, we're not willing to look inward and take responsibility that it's actually us that does those heinous things. Like, it's a lot easier to blame it on let's blame it on the aliens, the draconians, the reptiles, the whatever. Those are the ones that are responsible for genocide and a lack of humanity, when it's actually ourselves. And so if you look at the evolution of species, because we all evolve, I'm not sure that stopped, really. It hasn't stopped before, right? I mean, if you think about, like, some people don't believe we came from monkeys and this, that, blah, blah, but we do have certain characteristics, and there are periods of time. There's a period of time that, boom, all of a sudden, like, there were primates, but they were like pre-primates before we got to the main primates. And then they would morph into other features, but we're similar still in many ways. Like, if you classify things, with biology, there's similarities in all these different species. And so that's why you have the classifications, right? So is this the final prototype? Really? Do you think the final prototype of the next level of evolution on this planet is actually going to be like people that just still want to shoot each other up, or maybe like Sean Penn contemplate whether or not we should, like, think about, like, we have to be restrained, from using nuclear war when we might, really, Sean Penn, is that giving peace a chance? Is that giving peace a fucking chance? It's so fucking hypocritical. Like, to me, that's the part about people that bothers me. Like, if you want to go into celebrity or whatever, people that have influence, or, say blank, 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 they say one thing and the next day they say something else. You promote one thing, you promote one idol, you slap that on a bottle of, like, Coca-Cola, and that's supposed to be the motto, and then you say something fucking else. And that's the slimy ball part of it all. And we lap it up. We buy those papers, and then we think, like, maybe, like, years later when we go, you hear maybe the cannabis plant might actually do something that kills cancer cells, but you still remember those, what they said. Makes you insane. You lose your brain cells. Here's your brain on drugs. You're sloth. You're just a dirty hippie. You're part of the Manson family. Just say no, everybody. But why do people feel that way about something? Well, because, like, the media helped create the culture, not the other way around. The culture didn't create the media. See? That's why. And why did they do it? So that they could, like, help out the Rockefellers and the JP Morgans. Help everybody else out, who basically, all those people who scream around about, oh, we got to do something about our carbon footprint, when we could have been doing something different the whole damn time, and everything could be looking different right now. But I'm just a conspiracy theorist. So anyway, happy 420, everybody. I think I'm going to be out of here. It's 10:09. I did way longer than I should have. But Tere Joyce is deluded. I agree. The former Avon lady. Welcome, former Avon. I agree. She swears like a sailor. Thank you so much. Welcome, the former Avon lady. Is that like Margaret Thatcher in the picture? Not sure. And Terry Joyce is deluded. You're deluded. Okay. I am deluded. What's this? Okay, that's just weird. That's weird. I'm not even going to time out him or them. And the former Avon lady. To achieve world government is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, loyalty to family traditions, national patriotism, and religious dogmas. Brock Adams. God, it's like communism, huh? Isn't that interesting that they showed up and somebody showed up and said that? Wow. What am I doing? Like, how does this happen to me? Like, what have I done to like have people show up and do that? Tere the Destroyer. Can you tell me what I've done? You know, like why? Well, God bless you, but that's the last time you're in my chat. You talk tough, but you're weak. Okay. I felt good though. And I don't feel weak. And you are how you feel. And you are what's in your mind. See, everybody knows that. That's how it works. All right, so I'm gonna play some music and I'm gonna like move on out of here, guys. Right, I want to go back to here again. All right. That's funny. Oh, I appreciate you all for being here. And I'll probably do something later this week that won't, I mean, this is I'm kind of free-forming tonight. So thank you for indulging me. And I hope all is well with you guys. Let me go back to here. Let me find it. Oh, and happy 420, everybody. Happy fucking 420. And you know what? I swear again. You know what? I'm a comedian. I'm not apologizing for swearing. That's part of it. Although I try not to. I am trying not to. Okay, here it is.